So let's kind of start from the beginning with you guys, because I know you both were in different bands in your early days. And I want to know a little bit about why you guys decided to branch off and form a duo. How'd that come together?
Oh wow. I think I asked Nick to do a remix of one of my first band Mountain Man songs. And when he sent it back, it was just really, really good. And I was immediately like, we should do this more.
Yeah, it was one of those things where I think we were both kind of at turning points in our careers where like things were ending with all of the stuff we had been doing, and we each kind of needed. We were each still really hungry and wanted a new thing to jump to, and I think we kind of sensed that enthusiasm in each other right at the game.
That's so good. Amelia, did you take me into your mind? Because when you proposed that idea to Nick, were you nervous that he'd be like, like the idea of like coming together? And she's like, no, I knew I had it in the bag. Nope. I love it.
Yeah, I'm not like a hard day. I wasn't playing hard to get at all. It's just like, yeah, let's do this. Come on.
Yeah. We were like, we were like, had been like Twitter friends for like 2 years or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we told each other jokes every day. I had a feeling that he would be down.
What? Wait. Did you guys meet on Twitter or?
No, we met at a show.
Yeah, we met
okay.
at a show. Nick's project opened for my band, and then we followed. It was like
early Twitter.
way
It's
early
like
Twitter. Yeah, it was like
Wow.
2009,
10?
10.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Crazy. Truly the power of social media. I mean, like, look at that. And now here we are, right? Like,
Indeed.
what the heck? So I kind of want to, and I think those who are fans of yours already know what's up with you guys. They know about the name and where it came from, but I know that you guys are really serious, avid gamers, and we have tons of serious, avid gamers on here. So talk to me about you guys' name, because I know that the origins are very well connected to the gaming world, and you guys have a love for gaming.
Oh,
We do.
we really do. The name came from a beautiful game called Swords and Sorcery, in which you can sing a song of sorcery by holding your sword above your head, and it calls all of these cute sylvan sprites to you.
Nice.
So
Yeah, I mean, they had this idea of making something that felt like a mythical creature in the woods, like giving our band like the name of like the cat bus, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, we wanted something that felt like that, and she came up with it, and that was that. Yeah.
mhm.
I love that so much. Okay, so I have to be a little bit of a troll. And I did see that you were playing video games on Instagram. I saw that you had posted something on Instagram.
Oh, you mean that incredibly gross stack of photos of me looking really
Yes.
funny?
It's so good though. But I have to ask.
Oh,
I think we have, there it is. There it is. Completely classic. Okay, first and foremost, no judgment here, because like when I saw that, I was like, yes, same. Because underneath you wrote home, and I'm like, same. That is me in a onesie. In fact, Amelia, I'm pretty sure I have a onesie that looks just like that, and it's pink and green. It's literally the same onesie, basically. So I'm not judging. But
I'm glad you
curious.
don't get to see the face that she makes when I interrupt any kind of lounging that's happening. Like, that's me just walking in the room.
I love it. What were you playing that day? Do you remember?
I think I was playing
Hades, right?
Yeah, I was playing Hades.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
which is my latest favorite.
We're both, deep into the Hades.
Yeah, it's so good.
I love
Such a
it.
good-
Is that kind of how you guys woosah? Like just kind of, check out from the studio and just kind of like play games, or?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Early days of touring, we were touring. I mean, we were touring like 9-10 months a year the first couple of years we were a band. And so
Yeah.
when we would come home, it was like we'd have these like 3 to 5 day stretches where we were at home, and we would literally do nothing. Like we would just
Yeah.
get on the couch and like order takeout
Yeah.
and
Like-
sit and like trade the controller and just like play. Yeah, I mean, it was like nonstop. We worked through like so many huge games in that
Yeah.
couple of years.
Yeah, during Tootin.
I love that so much. I love that. It's so relatable. So many people in the chat are saying the onesie is super relatable. The gaming is super relatable. And honestly, I feel like you guys do such a great job being relatable, whether it's in the visuals for your videos, whether it's in your lyrics. And so shout out to that. I know that you guys share your writing and your production roles. And what I love about that is that it's not like, because I feel like a lot of people, when they see a man and a woman, they're kind of like, oh, well, the woman's got to be the singer or the guy's got to be the producer. So why was it so important for you guys to just establish that dynamic of both of you guys kind of working copaesthetically or collaboratively?
Well, I think first and foremost, because that's the reality. I think there's a lot of kind of like myths about the creative process and about writing and about muses and all this stuff that's inherently kind of reductive. And I think the more our creative relationship has grown, the more all of those things have gotten blurred and overlapped, and limiting, I think, either one of us, but especially Amelia, to one role or the other just felt like incorrect. It just felt like that wasn't what was actually happening. Like, we're each producing.
Yeah, for me, being in this band has really been like, even like working through some of my own misogyny of like it took me a while to like realize that what I was doing was producing, because it came so naturally to me. And then like being able to see that and claim it and own it.
How do you get out of your head? How'd you get out of your head with that?
I really had a lot of people like who were constantly around me being like, you're like this guy being like, you're producing, that's what you're doing. Like, just step into that role, own your shit.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for.
Yeah. It doesn't, just because I feel like there's this modern idea that unless you're the one clicking the mouse or whatever, you're not producing. And it's like, production is a mental task. It's a curatorial task. It's it's a bigger and more important thing than understanding how Ableton works or something.
Exactly. And it can look different between producers.
And everyone that either of us has ever worked with has been totally different.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's the wildest part about this industry, is like, once you get into pop song writing world, you find out that like everyone has their own little weird magic trick that they do, and they do it totally differently than everybody else does.
That's such a cool way of putting it.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. What does your writing process look like? Like, do you guys kind of sit down and say, okay, you go in that room and you write, you go in that room, or do you guys work collaboratively? Or is it just kind of like you're writing notes in your phone while you're at the grocery store and like, you're like, okay, this would be dope to, how does that work for you guys?
It's really different all the time. Sometimes.
And it's all of those things.
Yeah, it's all of those things. Sometimes, like, really, I get most of my really good ideas at shows, which has been very hard during the pandy.
Right.
But like, even then, at this point, we just get into a room together, and like either I have an idea or Nick has an idea, or we just build something from the ground up together.
It's almost, each of us, like a lot of artists, I think, that we're constantly looking for things around us to find like any kind of seed of a starting point of idea. So there's almost never a day when we show up to work and one of us isn't excited about something, even if it's just like a rhyme or like a drum sound or something. I feel like at this point, that's kind of all we need to get moving.
Yeah, or an inspiration. Sometimes when we're really lost, we'll be like, let's like we'll just start like playing each other's music that's been inspiring. Inspiring. It really helps.
Are you guys able to, I guess, separate work? Because as a couple who works together, how do you separate it? Or do you feel like sometimes you're making dinner and you're like, one person is like ear drumming or something, and you're like, wait, I have this crazy idea, and like, do you separate work, or is it does it feel impossible?
Because you can't do it.
Yeah. I don't think you can do it. Or like then you would be like mid conversation, you'd be like, no, we can't talk about this.
It feels unnatural.
I think you end up hashing out emotional arguments from your relationship in the creative studio setting. You know what I mean? So it's like, it goes both ways and neither of them is good. So unless you're just hashing it out all the time, like about everything, it gets weird, you know?
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. Amelia, you've said in the past that songwriting is painful. What does that mean? And how do you work through that? Is it actually painful? Like, is it kind of like a struggle, or?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think it was much more painful for me before, because it was like harder for me to look at my feelings and be brave at the same time. Or like in that, I think when I said that also, like it just hurt to try to be that honest with myself. Or like I was so scared that I wasn't going to be able to ever write a song again, which like I pretty much feel like every time I sit down to write songs, I was like having to, you have to like confront that feeling every time you sit down to begin, which is now something that I'm really used to.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, if you want it to be real, there's like no other way to do
if
it.
you want to, if you want to talk about like authentic shit that like you feel, you have to like look at some parts of yourself that you don't necessarily want to acknowledge all the time.
Yeah. I imagine that you guys are incredibly and brutally honest with each other. Has there ever been a time where one of you guys have written something and the other is just like, that's shit, we're not doing that?
Oh, Nicholas does that to me all the time.
You do that to me too. Come on.
That is not true.
Yes, it is.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. We call it, what do we like? Wait, can we swear on here?
It's Twitch.
It's Twitch. What am I talking about? Sorry.
Yeah.
We call it shitting on a cloud.
You can't. You have to like love somebody's cloud.
It's like you're like, I made this little cloud, and then you just shit on it. Like you gotta, you're like, don't shit on my cloud, man.
Keep it in the air.
Yeah. We were talking this morning about this continuum between on one end being like too mean and like only being interested in what you think is good, and on the other end being too accommodating to the other person, in this case just the two of us, and like, and then we make like boring like compromise music, and it's like that, finding that sweet spot in the middle where like we're arguing a bunch but like we're not being mean to each other about it. It's kind of that's like the balance.
That's where it happens. Otherwise, like both uneven ends are like boring or inactive.
Yeah. So I'm guessing within that argument, at some point you guys are just like, you know what, we're agreeing to disagree and we're going to go ahead and make this music. Is that how that works?
No, it's like the disagreement leads to a better solution to whatever we were doing.
Exactly. Yeah, so it's it like usually lends its way into some sort of compromise. Sometimes there is a little like agree to disagree, but even then it'll be like, okay, well, we can keep it like that for now.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. Like, I'll deal with, okay, for an hour we can keep it like this, but I think I'm right and I think you're wrong.
And then usually one of us either admits that they were wrong in the first place or wins.
Yeah, for sure. Do you guys ever sit down and think about how much your music has evolved since your early beginnings, in 2012?
I mean, yeah, it's kind of hard because it's like that meme that's going around, or is it a meme? The like 10 years ago photo or whatever, like where you're like
10 years versus now.
Yeah, like I have changed a lot, but also I feel like the exact same person. And like, so yeah, I don't really think about it, but I think it is evident. It's weird.
Well, we also don't really listen to our old stuff at all. No. You know, it's just like the video, like when we hadn't seen that since we made it, like we kind of don't listen to our own records once they're done. Like we play them at shows, but that's like its own immediate experience that doesn't really have anything to do. It feels like it has more to do with us now than it does with whatever the song was when we wrote it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's tough. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have greater clarity about what our songs mean to me. Like, I think I can see myself better, more clearly than I could in the moment of writing anything. You know, like I think the more space you have from something you've made, the more you're able to understand the version of yourself that was making it, you know?
Yeah. It's so interesting. I guess it's like a diary entry. I feel like a lot of people will write but never look back at it. But it's helpful information, in the future. So you guys were super busy in 2020. It's funny because like it was, I mean, the pandemic was happening. It's still happening. It's never ending, it feels like. But when a lot of people were indoors, you were dropping a couple of albums which was the live concert album, and then Free Love later on in the year. I want to talk about With, because I'm obsessed with it. That was one of the things that I had watched on Friday, and I was just like, oh my God, like in my feelings. It was just so beautiful. What brought you guys to the point of, or what inspired like a concert project or a live concert project?
We knew that we wanted to hang out with our friends. And we knew that we were going to be taking that year off. And so we kind of like put it in the future, like at the beginning of the year, we were like, and at this point we will take a bunch of our friends out and we'll do different versions of the songs.
It's also something we'd always kind of wanted to do. Like
Yeah.
right after we made our second record, we were feeling really like lost and like we didn't have a lot of perspective. This happens, I think, anytime anybody makes something that takes a long time to make, there's that phase right before the end of it where you've like totally lost perspective. And one way we dealt with that on our second record was to get a bunch of our friends and we taught them all the songs and then played them in a studio. And it kind of like reminded us what the songs were in the first place and like why we wrote them. And that kind of planted this seed where we were like, oh, if it ever makes sense, it would be cool to do a tour, just a few cities where we like were a different version of this band just to see how it felt.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then it finally was able to happen in like 2019.
Yeah, it was a pretty wonderful last show to have done before the pandemic happened. Or it was a really nice memory to be able to look back on.
Yeah.
And that we had the foresight to have thought, oh, we should film this, which is kind of a last minute thought. It felt like,
wow, it didn't
be able to like, and then be able to like share that. I mean, that was also this moment that it was like the first time I can remember putting something out where it felt like it was something that we could give to people, you know?
Yeah.
Like it was this like free thing that like could give people something that like at that moment they didn't have any access to, you know. It was like, it really felt like a show and a tour, you know?
Yeah. I feel like you guys did such a great job at like bringing us into your world, like shoes off, like circular, like situation, just beautiful sounds. And was that very like intentional or did it just so happen to be that way? Were you just like, hey, we're in this space, we're comfortable, some of us are going to take our shoes off? Or was it like, no, we're going to create this vibe?
Oh no!
Oh no! It was that Molly. Was Molly taking your shoes off? It's got to be Molly.
Well, also, I mean, like, that was the thing. It was also we had this studio and we had just gotten it then, so it was like there was nothing was built out. We had like we played in the garage. I mean, like we had to practice with our band in the garage, and so like that was the only. It was like just logistically the only way to do it.
Wow!
And I'm like so grateful for it now because it was like I love that feeling, that juxtaposition. It's like. We always talk about showing people the real thing, like what the actual experience of the band is. And I feel like that was so classic of like us playing together in a garage and then having this huge production on stage.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what you're talking about is With Love when we did like in the middle of the pandemic.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Like when we were able to actually like get everybody tested. It was like at the tail end of the first variant. We were able to like get everybody tested and there was a lot of no shoes in that one.
Oh yeah.
I loved it. I loved it so much. Like I felt like I had met my friends. Like you guys were friends to me in my head. So I love the title, Free Love. It has so many meanings, or it can have so many meanings, but I want to know kind of where it derived from and what the meaning is for you guys. Because obviously free love could mean love is costless, or it could mean freeing love, something that's, something that is in bondage, so I want to know what it meant specifically for you guys and where that came from.
I think that we wanted to talk about, I am completely addicted to phrases that mean like multiple things at the same time. So one, thank you so much for illuminating that. Also, the record itself is about trying to like come back to love for like both within yourself and like to find the ability to love in such a sad and terrifying time. So I wanted to talk about that. And also like, I kind of wanted to talk about how all albums are free now. So
she's like, this is the real reason.
Yep. Everything all at once.
Yeah. It's funny because even you kind of touching on that, I feel like Free Love touches on a lot of different things: self-image, friendship, romance, all of the things. And you guys do it in such a pleasant way that it's like there is a true message behind what you're saying, but it's very digestible. Whereas like if someone else were saying it, maybe it would be like, no, this is not what I came here for, or like, don't force this down my throat kind of thing. So how are you guys able to do that? Basically tell this story that may be off-putting if someone else were telling it, but the way in which you're doing it is far more digestible.
Thank you. I think like with every form of communication, if you really believe what you're saying, people will listen, I think, in a different way.
I think it's
Don't you
yeah,
think?
and it's also just, I mean, Amelia's honesty. I feel like we're always reaching for the music to feel real and true, and especially in the world of pop, I think there's a real tendency to oversimplify things or like put a really shellac sheen on everything. And for us, at least, the interesting moments come when those things go away and it gets real and complicated. And so I just feel like with Amelia's work, the more honest you get, the more relatable and real it feels, because it's not a costume.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. So I know the first single is Ferris Wheel, which is, I love Ferris Wheel. I love Ferris Wheel and I love the video for it. It feels like a fun summertime, light, vibey. Why was that the one that you guys were like, okay, this has got to be the single?
Well, I don't know. I knew that I think it was like a really sad time when we put it out. We were like,
It was like a real shitty
yeah, it
summer.
was a stone cold bummer. And we were like, yeah, okay, let's do this. And then we also like knew that we were going to be able to like shoot it overnight in this like tiny amusement park. So we were immediately like, we like the videos here, we can do it.
It also just felt like a thing we hadn't really done before. It felt like a step in a different direction, in a way that we knew would be able to be contextualized by the rest of the record. But we thought it'd be kind of a jarring and like first listen,
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's interesting. So of course you guys made 2 other records prior to this one. Is there like something that you guys learned throughout that process that made making this one a lot easier or made this one feel a lot more authentic to where you guys are right now?
Every record is completely different. I will say that the more records I make, the more confident I feel like I'll be able to do it again.
Yeah. I love that works that way.
Yeah, it's great. This was the first one that was like that actually like felt pretty pleasant. It was like a really easy record.
It was fun.
And of course, because it was the easiest one to make, it was like the hardest and saddest to release. We didn't even get to tour it until like
Crazy.
this fall.
Yeah. So, it was really, I feel like every record that we've done has informed the next one, but this one is definitely the one that I'm the most proud of.
Yeah. You guys drop your questions in the chat for Sylvan Esso. I know you guys kind of hinted to that summer fall tour. What was that like? And was it kind of refreshing for you guys? Did you feel a new energy from your fans who were cooped up indoors for a while and then were able to go and see you guys?
It was so wonderful.
It was unbelievable.
We're like primarily touring is like the thing that Nick and I like doing the best. So it was really wonderful to just get to be out there doing it, wearing an insane outfit, like skibbling around on God's palm or whatever.
Yeah. It was also crazy because it was the first time, because of the whole situation, it was the first time we'd had been able to like reconsider the way we did the show. So we like rebuilt our whole rig from the ground up. We like changed everything. So it was this, especially after doing With, which was you said the last thing that we had done, which was a different kind of reimagining of the band. I think I was kind of worried that coming back to just the two of us might feel like a step down, and it did the opposite. No. It was like so cool to come back to that and like feel that centering moment and then have all these people that were like, I mean, we just have like the best fans on earth. They were like so excited about everything and like pulled us through everything. And it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Love that so much. It's funny that you mentioned like all the crazy outfits, because I remember someone in the chat, I can't see their message just yet, but they said that they saw you guys a while ago and like one of you guys were in like cellophane and someone else was in, I forgot what throw that back in the chat because it was so good, but it's already kind of went up in the chat so I can't scroll, but
it says it's Cheval Loon. They said Nick was in flannel PJ pants and Amelia was in sexy cellophane lingerie.
Yes,
smiling
love
laughing
it.
face.
Yes, I love that so much. Can you kind of talk to me about how you guys build that story? Because of course your outfits are very much a part of the storytelling when you're on the road performing, in videos, all of the above. Talk to me about that.
Oh wow. I get to design each one of my outfits with my friend Elizabeth G. Warren. She makes them for me.
Sick.
So on this previous tour, we did a bunch of really fun latex leotards,
Dope.
which I absolutely adore. And then I like to right for the last record, it was a lot about having two silhouettes at once. So there would be like a diaphanous layer that you could see through, and then this like wild shiny leotard under it. And that's one of my we were trying to figure out like how to talk about like moments of reveal or being able to like be truly present within yourself. So we like half of the outfits were informed by that, and the other half was just joy and fun.
Did you by any chance help create the, I think it's like a one piece or it might be a two piece in the Ferris wheel video? It's like that gold. That was sick. Like that's an outfit that I'm like, yo, I want that. It's fire. Yes. It's so good. It's so, so good. It would be remiss of me to not congratulate you guys on your Grammy nomination. Super exciting. Congrats. Where were you guys when you learned the news, and what was that initial reaction?
I was actually in an audition for a movie. So I was like,
That's amazing.
Reading a script on Zoom and like trying to figure out how to act with somebody on Zoom. And then like I saw all my messages start to blow up, and I was like trying to keep my cool, and I didn't look at them. And then when I got like out of this audition, I called our manager Marty and found out. And then I really just like screamed and yelled and ran around our studio for like an hour. Everyone was also like, everybody who was in the studio was not very impressed with it at all.
They're like, that's it.
Yeah, our engineer Allie was like, I was like, we got nominated for Grammy, and she was like, that's nice.
I've got work to do now.
I was with my parents though, which was super cool.
Yeah.
Like my parents had just gotten into town for Thanksgiving, and I was out and about with them and like got the call. So I got this awesome experience that you like never think you're gonna get, where like I was actually taking the call in front of my parents and they were getting super psyched. So it was like, that was really nice. Also, it's just so unexpected, you know?
Yeah.
Like we didn't see it coming at all. We weren't shooting for it. We didn't, it was crazy.
You guys are lucky to have each other, and we are lucky to have had you on the show today. So much fun, so organic, authentic. We love you. Your fans have been going nuts in the chat. We appreciate you so much, and best of luck. Crossing our fingers for that Grammy for you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.